Okay, let's jump right into Zechariah chapter 4 for this deep dive.
Sounds good.
We're looking at a pretty vivid vision here. It kicks off with the prophet being woken up, almost like being nudged awake.
Yeah, he's stirred from sleep, and then he sees this, well, this solid gold lampstand.
Right, not just any old lampstand either. It's got a bowl on top.
Uh-huh. A bowl at the top and 7 lights connected to it with these, like, channels feeding them. Very specific details.
But the thing that really stands out, visually at least, are these 2 olive trees.
That's right. They're positioned right there, one on each side of the bowl.
And Zechariah, he's understandably a bit lost,
Yeah.
right? He asks the angel basically, what are these?
Exactly. And the angel's answer, it gets straight to the point, especially for Zerubbabel. It's that really focused verse.
Oh yeah, that not by might nor by power.
But by my spirit, says the Lord Almighty. That's the absolute heart of it.
So that's laid out as the central theme, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And it's directly connected to Zerubbabel's big challenge.
Which the text calls a mighty mountain, a huge obstacle.
But the promise is, because it's by God's Spirit, that mountain, it's going to become level ground right before him. He'll even bring out the capstone.
The finishing stone.
Yeah.
Showing completion.
Right. And think about the context Zerubbabel's trying to rebuild the temple. This isn't just, a nice thought. It's an assurance that this huge, seemingly impossible task,
It gets done how?
not by armies or resources, but by God's own Spirit making it happen.
And there's more for Zerubbabel specifically, isn't there? Another message comes through.
The text reinforces it. It says Zerubbabel's own hands, the ones that laid the temple's foundation, those hands will finish it.
And that completion, that's the proof.
That's the proof. The angel, the messenger, was sent by the Lord Almighty. It connects the promise to the person.
It also touches on that idea of not looking down on small beginnings.
Yeah. Who despises the day of small things? It says people will actually be happy, they'll rejoice, when they see the plumb line, the building tool in Zerubbabel's hand.
So the Spirit is there from the very start, the small things, right through to the finish.
Precisely. Completion is guaranteed by God's power.
Okay, so circling back to the vision's elements. The lampstand itself, those 7 lights, the text gives us their meaning too.
It does. It says quite clearly, these 7 are the eyes of the Lord, which range throughout the earth.
God's eyes. So the light from the lampstand represents God's awareness, his vision everywhere.
His presence, his comprehensive knowledge of everything happening.
Which brings us back again to those olive trees. Zechariah seems really focused on them.
He does. He asks again, what are these 2 olive trees? And even about the branches pouring out this gold oil, he really wants to nail down their meaning.
And the angel eventually tells him, after checking Zechariah still doesn't know.
He says, these are the 2 who are anointed to serve the Lord of all the earth.
Okay, so let's try and sort of summarize this for you, based just on what the text is telling us here.
We've got the lampstand, God's presence, Spirit, his all-seeing eyes.
And the core message, especially for Zerubbabel facing that mountain, is that God's work gets done by his Spirit, not human effort. Obstacles get leveled.
And then you have these 2 olive trees, identified as the anointed ones, standing right beside that source of divine light and spirit.
So the final thought to leave you with, drawing straight from this chapter, what does the placement of these 2 anointed individuals, represented as olive trees constantly supplying fuel, right next to the symbol of God's presence and Spirit, suggest?
Yeah, what does that very close relationship imply about their specific role? Their connection to that divine spirit, that divine vision, and their service to the Lord of all the earth. It's a really potent image to ponder.